Steve Stasek coming to you here from Stonelink Property Management, and we are reaching out to all of our clients with a call to arms. Right now, the Providence City Council is introducing an ordinance which is under review, rent control. Rent control measures are bad for business, as you know. It is bad for the tenants. Ultimately, there are a number of downhill effects that rent control has proven to have, yet the Providence City Council thinks that it's a good time to propose this for tenant advocacy. This new measure involves things like a 4% rent increase cap on an annual basis. This isn't just for an existing tenant, by the way. This has to do with a tenant that's been in there. Every year you could do a 4% rent increase. However, if a tenant leaves your property, you can only increase the rent for a new tenant to 4%. This ordinance keeps in mind historic rents and is going to look back 180 days to what the rent is and consider that a base rent. The base rent is what all of these things are going to be considered on, rent increases will be considered on moving forward. Some other considerations are new construction. It will have a 15-year moratorium, but in already constricted building environments, Providence is not an attractive place for new construction. Rent control will effectively drive other new construction efforts out of the city. There's a 90-day grace period for considerations outside of the 4% rent increase. However, this is going to be a board that the Providence City Council is going to put forth. I'm going to say that this process is going to look arduous at best. There's also, by the way, a 30-day consideration period on top of the 90 days. So if you tried to get a better rent for a property that maybe you just turned over, you can petition the board for a greater than 5 or 4% increase. However, that could take as long as 120 days. So how can you get involved? The best way to do this is let your local officials know, all right? You can reach out to your Providence City Council. There are links in this email that you will find. And if you can't figure out who your Providence City Council member is, there's a link that will show you who your City Council member is. If you don't have a property in Providence, that doesn't mean you can't let your voice be heard. Email the Providence City Council at large. Testimony will be accepted coming up here. If you want to get involved, there are ways that you can do that as well. But you need to get involved. You need to let your voice be heard. And for those property owners that don't own properties in Providence, keep in mind, Rhode Island is a small state, and by the way Providence goes, so doesn't the rest of the state. So you'll need to get involved. So please, write a letter, let people know why rent control is a bad idea, and we can get through this. So from all of us at Stonelink, let's get this thing squashed.